Here's 3 tough spiritual truths that took me nearly a decade to finally accept. So I sat in hundreds of ayahuasca ceremonies, meditated for thousands of hours with Hindu gurus, and dedicated my life to seeking truth. And these were the 3 lessons that were the most painful to learn so far. First, that rejecting the physical does not make you spiritual. In fact, most of the time, it's just fear, avoidance, and shame masked as holiness. Because ascetic ideals that tell you to detach from the world often mask spiritual escapism, whereas a real spiritual path embraces the material world fully, using every positive and negative experience as fuel for inner alchemy. If you think about it, suppression always leads to compulsion. That's why you hear so many twisted stories about priests and gurus abusing those around them. Because on the surface they were pretending to be holy and beyond all things physical, but on the inside they were still controlled by it. Because that which you disown always owns you. So spirituality is not an escape, it's the absolute penetration of reality. God isn't hiding on some distant, better future, but on the present that we refuse to unwrap. Second, God is not safe. Spirituality is not safe. Most people think that spirituality is a path of growth, but it's really a path of self-destruction, destroying that which is not true. True spirituality is not for people who want solace, safety, comfort, because at the beginning, the closer you get to divine truth, the more destabilized your ego and life will become. I learned that pursuing spirituality as a means of achieving inner peace or safety is a profound misunderstanding, because it leads instead to relentless chaos, perpetual rebirth, and radical uncertainty. So whatever wisdom you were meant to gather in 50 years, you compress in 5, which means that for a serious spiritual path, you must have the courage to fast track the song of life, because it's less about arriving to a perfectly peaceful life and more about learning to be completely still and at peace regardless of all the chaos that happens externally. Finally, spirituality is not for the broken, it's for the brave. Most people come to God when they want solace, not solutions. People want a shoulder to cry on, a hug, nothing wrong with this, but a spiritual path does not provide that. Spiritual path shows you the petty little problems you have created. It shows you that you are responsible for your misery. It shows you the silly ways in which you have abandoned your truth. People say that God is love, sure, but they think that love is this sweet, cozy lullaby, and it is not. Love is more of a wake-up call. Love is a fire that purifies all that isn't true. But to do so, it must burn it first, and lukewarm fires do not shape gold. So spirituality is not for people who want to feel good as much as it is for people who want to be free. Because when God wanted to make David a king, he did not send him a crown. He sent Goliath.